We are going to be talking about fraud, misrepresentation, and how can you waive the fraud or misrepresentation, let alone if you do not have a qualifying relative for the purpose of applying for a waiver. Are you going to be able to overcome that misrepresentation? In this video, my friend, I am going to talk to you about some techniques, okay? Let's get right into it. My name is Bijoux Ngwanda. I'm an immigration lawyer based here in DC. I work with individuals across the country and around the world because we deal with complex, complicated U.S. immigration law cases. If you're new to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. If you are not new, welcome back. Thank you for subscribing. And please do not forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. If you enjoy the content, you go ahead and share, like. Don't forget to comment below. Also follow us on all platforms. We have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook group, Facebook page, thread, you name them. But just go ahead and follow us specifically on Instagram and thread so that you can keep being updated on the latest on immigration news. Misrepresentation and fraud. First of all, in order to be qualified, okay, for a waiver, you have to have a qualifying relative. For the purpose of fraud and misrepresentation, my friend, you only need two things, okay? Lawful permanent resident or U.S. citizen spouse or parent. That's it. If you do not have those, then waiver is not warranted under your circumstances, okay? Then you might say, well, I have U.S. children. Is it going to help me to get a waiver? The question becomes, well, it's not going to help you get a waiver, but we can defeat the misrepresentation in question by undermining one of the elements of misrepresentation, okay? Remember, in order for a misrepresentation to be counted as misrepresentation, has to be willfully made. There has to be a statement that was made for the purpose of getting a visa or any benefit, admission or benefit under the INA, Immigration Nationality Act, and the misrepresentation has to be material. Keyword, material. That's how you can defeat it. If it's not material, then misrepresentation was not made. Then you don't need a waiver for the purpose of that, right? Especially if you don't have a qualifying relative. So, material. How do you know that the misrepresentation in question is material? Okay? Two things. Number one, it has to have the tendency, okay, natural tendency to influence the decision of the person who's making the decision, okay? Body maker, the officer, the person who's actually making the decision. So if that misrepresentation has a natural tendency to influence the decision of the person making the decision, then it is material. How do you know that it is has that tendency? Well, it's basically if the person will be inadmissible on true facts. I'm going to explain that in a minute. Or the misrepresentation question, okay, tend to cut off a line of inquiry which is relevant to the applicant eligibility. So this is how materiality of the misrepresentation works, okay? Let's say, for example, you misrepresent facts. They ask you, do you have children? You say, no, I do not have children. Maybe you did not understand the question. Regardless of the reasoning of you representing those facts, so the question becomes, will knowing those two facts had a natural tendency to render you inadmissible? The answer under those circumstances will be no, because if somebody has children, that does not render that person inadmissible. Okay, that's not a subject of inadmissibility, having children. They might go further and say, well, we're going to test with DNA to know if they're really your children, right? But you're not going to be ineligible just because you have children. So to that extent, then the misrepresentation question is not material, because it does not have the tendency, natural tendency, to influence the consulate, okay? And as a matter of fact, it doesn't shut off a line of questioning, okay? They can question you on other stuff. Well, that's just one example, okay? Another example is misrepresentation in terms of how you got here in the US using a false document, a fraudulent document using. Remember, in case of asylum, some people will use other people's document in order to access safe haven, okay, because they're fleeing persecution. So they use false document. Well, the argument in that instance will be, well, I got here because I was fleeing persecution. The very fact that I got somebody else's document is proof enough to tell you that how credible my fear was, okay? So it was really so credible that I had to just get somebody else's document to actually flee the country. So is that misrepresentation material? Well, we will argue no, it's not, because it's not, in other words, it's not undermining somebody's eligibility to actually get the asylum, the immigration benefit under asylum law. So that's how you argue materiality if you do not have a qualifying relative for the purpose of applying for a waiver of misrepresentation. But say that you have a qualifying relative, you have a spouse who is a lawful permanent resident or a U.S. citizen, or you have a parent who's a lawful permanent resident or a U.S. citizen, then you have to be able to show extreme hardship, okay, to that qualifying relative. Let's say that those qualifying relatives do not have some type of will not suffer extreme hardship in a way, in the context of immigration, of course, but you are the person who's actually suffering in terms of illness, serious illness, some type of mental illness, some type of a lot of things going on with you. While we can use your situation in relation to the qualifying relative and show how your situation is affecting them if they don't have any particular situation to show off. So that's how we can use extreme hardship type of argument. My friend, in those type of cases, waiver of misrepresentation, fraud, those are difficult cases. We strongly suggest that you hire counsel, because what's going to happen is you have to prove it, okay, not just with facts, but with evidence, with case law, with statutes, with a lot of strong reasoning, okay? We're qualified to do that. You can call us 202-751-2180. Email bijoux.ngwanda@gmail.com. Consultation fees apply as usual, or you can schedule your consultation on your own time by using the consultation links in the description box below. My friend, this is the very best time to apply for a waiver if you qualify for one, or this is the time to actually make an argument if the misrepresentation question wasn't material, okay? We have been successful in helping other clients. We do not guarantee success, but case-by-case basis. Of course, this is Bijoux Ngwanda, immigration lawyer in the DC metropolitan area. Until next time, bye-bye.